Hello, welcome to Healing with podcast. I am Marissa McDevitt, your host, mindset coach, mentor, and founder of Healing Center. Tired of all the BS? So was I. This podcast is my raw, unfiltered take on life, sharing my personal experiences, lessons, and healing practices that helped me break free from the cycles that no longer serve me. I'm just an average woman who decided to stop settling and start speaking up. Here we dive deep into the messy, beautiful, and sometimes painful realities of life, business, and relationships. No fluff, no judgment, just real talk, real growth, and real transformation. This is a safe space for anyone, women, men, and all the beauties in between. So who's ready to raise their standards, heal, and step into their power? Let's learn, grow, and evolve together. Now tune in and let's talk about it. Why kids? I'm 31 years old and I don't want kids. My fiance doesn't either, and thank God we aligned on that. What breaks my heart is seeing kids being born into instability, women becoming mothers from survival, and partners staying stuck in toxic loops. Ask yourself this: do you actually want kids? And why? Or do you not want them and are afraid to say it out loud? If you are a parent, were you ready? Or did you hope a child would save a broken relationship? It's time to get real with ourselves. It's time to break cycles and choose love, not patterns. I'm going to talk truth, healing, and conscious choices around having children. This episode is going to trigger some of you, but the intention of this episode is not judgment. It's awareness. I'm speaking to those who need to pause and ask, why am I choosing this? So this episode came to me yesterday, and it's kind of always been on my mind. And I've been very confused about it for a lot of years of watching people choose to have children when they know it's not the right decision. I want to remind you that this episode is not coming from judgment. My intention for this episode is awareness. So before y'all get triggered and come at me, oh, you're not a parent, and oh, you don't understand because you never had kids. I am so thankful I have not had a child. I am so thankful that I have never been pregnant. I thank the universe every single day. There's been so many opportunities, I am sure, of past relationships that were the crappiest partners I could have ever even thought of having children with. Thank God I didn't. Thank God. I'm talking about this episode for people to become more aware. I want this to be a normal conversation to some. My friends and my family are off getting married, and immediately with that, right, is baby making. And it just dawned on me, yesterday I was just like, why do people rush this so fast? Why do they install this at such a young age? You must get married, you must have kids. Then I'm like, well, is this more of a religion thing? Because, the religion in the Bible wants you to have more kids, so you're stuck in the system. And oh my gosh, did you guys see that that documentary on the 14 children or 19 children or whatever it is? It used to be a TV show about this church family that just kept making children because in their church, God said that it's a blessing to them. You're closer to God if you continue to have more children and more children, because then you build a colony to populate the planet to bring everybody closer to God. We'll come to find out the brothers were molesting the sisters. The parents were abusing the crap out of these kids. Like, there's a whole documentary. It's called Shining Happy People. And a friend of mine was a part of that cult. Not of the exact family, but of the cult that they followed and built their family on. So hopefully he comes on my podcast, talks about it. Some wild stuff. So a little off topic there, but it's definitely something to look into. I just got done watching that. It was wild. A few episodes of it. I guess a new season comes out later this month, and we're in July. So, all right, going back. Why kids? I'm 31. I don't want kids. I found my partner who aligned with my truth. What a blessing. He doesn't want kids. He actually can't. He's snipped. The intention of this episode is not judgment, it's awareness. And I'm speaking to those who need to pause and ask, why are you choosing this? Let me tell you why I don't want kids. I don't want kids because I enjoy my freedom. I enjoy doing what I want to do, when I want to do, and embodying all the time and space for myself to create my business, to go travel, to just be me, not having the responsibility of a child. My purpose and my alignment on this planet is to help children. Isn't that funny? I don't want kids, but I want to help kids. I'm connected to kids. I don't want kids. That is my true calling. Let's back up here. For the people who are already getting triggered about this episode because of the title and what we're going to talk about, I raised my ex's son from 1 to 4 years old. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was 17 years old. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I helped raise his son. I know what it's like to have a child. I know what it's like to bathe them, to put clothes on them, to cook for them, to entertain them, to teach them, to hold space for them, to coddle them, to discipline them. I know the responsibilities. I know how much time-consuming, how much energy you have to put into raising children. I have a dog. Oh, Marissa, you can't compare dogs to kids. Bullshit. Yes, you can. I'm going to tell you why. Dogs are like children. They're not cats. You cannot leave a dog at home for multiple days at a time and just leave food in the bowl. You cannot do that. They have to be let outside. They have to go to potty. They have to be fed. They're very companion-like animals. My dog will be 15 years old in December. I've had this dog since I was 3 months old. I mean, not since I was 3 months old. I've had my dog since she was 3 months old. That's a long freaking time. This dog has been there through everything with me. All those crazy relationships I was telling you that I almost could have had a child, but thank God I didn't. I know what it's like to have that responsibility of taking care of something and someone that needs you. My dog, she needs me just as much as I need her. I am blessed. My dog is a soul dog to me. She's a soul pet. What does that mean? That before I even came here, there was some kind of contract where this dog was placed in my life during these, this 15, 16, 17 year span of my life. This dog was blessed to me, and I am so thankful that I have this dog. I wouldn't have gotten through the things I have if it wasn't for this dog. Which makes me think, I know that there are many blessings of having children. I know that there's a reason why, just like the dog was a soul pet, there are soul childs, right? Children, sometimes are placed in your life for you to level up in spirituality, for you to get out of the most darkest times of your life. Here's what I don't understand. Women having children because they think the boyfriend is going to stay around. Women having children because they think their long-term relationship is going to get better because it's crumbling. So if they have a child, of course it has to get better, right? I have watched so many friends, family, acquaintances have children knowing they were going to have split families, that they barely can even afford to take care of themselves. Now they have to raise a kid. I know how hard it was to raise a child. I was 17. I was expelled from school, so I barely worked, and I was literally a stay-at-home mom. I know what it's like. And we lived off of food stamps. We were hotel to hotel sometimes. The amount of trauma this kid has, between his mother and his father and going all different places, I know that kid's going to grow up with so much trauma. So let's talk about cycles. Parenting from pain, scarcity, guilt, and fear. So what happens when people have kids without healing first? How this affects children: instability, split homes, trauma, emotional neglect, and what the importance of conscious parenting or choosing not to be a parent, how they're both valid. Clearly, there are beautiful families out there. Clearly, there are financially secure families out there that can totally have children and bring them into their lives, get married, have children. They have the house, they have the financial stability. Even if the relationship is rocky and they split up, at least, both parents are wealthy, so the kid is doing all right. However, the facts are, people who are having kids without healing and people who are having kids for the right reasons are way different. The people who are having kids without healing first are way more than the people who are actually secure, stable, and financially able to have kids, who are in healthy relationships, right? I want to get into it because, like I said, I've watched and I've been there. I have watched so many unhealed kids, also young adults, have children for the wrong reasons. For example, a family member of mine called me and told me she was pregnant. And at this time, she was dating a guy that was on drugs and was beating her. And I asked her, okay, what are you going to do? And she's like, well, I think I'm going to keep it. And her baby daddy at the time didn't want the kid. Literally said, I don't want the kid. I don't want to be with you. I don't want the kid. So she decided to have her child anyways. I'm going to give you an example of how hard this is. I told her that she should have an abortion. She was not in any position to raise a child. She was a child. She was, I don't know, she was 17 or 18. I can't remember. She had no place to live. Barely had a job. But she decided to have a child. So she didn't talk to me. We didn't talk because our phone call didn't go well. Obviously, I told her, like I said. Looking back now, after years of having a few other friends that I told, hey, you should probably have an abortion. And the fact is, because the boyfriend was beating the shit out of them, telling them they don't want the kid, and yet these women still have the kid. Knowing the dad doesn't want to be with you, you're in a rough situation, you don't even have like your own home or anything, Why bring a child into this life? Fast forward. Sister was alone in the hospital for both of her pregnancies. No baby daddies to support her. No family to support her. Her father, I guess, was. She raised a kid by herself, barely surviving, lived at her father's house. The struggle this girl has gone through. I remember her calling me and jumping from guy to guy, apartment to apartment with a newborn baby. Because all this girl wanted was love. Someone to validate her, someone to love her, because we didn't get that as kids. So this is a girl that had family trauma, childhood trauma, grew up starting to use heavy drugs, in terrible relationships, just like our mom was, gets knocked up, calls me. I tell her, get an abortion. Every red flag is there to get an abortion. Do not have a kid. She has a child, gets completely clean off drugs, has something to live for, has something to give her unconditional love, since nobody else will. Even though she drugged that baby everywhere, house to house, apartment to apartment, like all the way up until boyfriend after boyfriend, meeting the kid, this guy, like, come on. How much trauma is my niece gonna have? Because you didn't heal yours. Because you're looking for your healing in other people. Why bring a child into this life doing that? Knowing that. Everything happens for a reason, right? So now go on to second baby. Calls me up. I'm pregnant. This is 7 years after the first one. I say, okay, what does your boyfriend think of that? Well, we were trying to have a baby, but we broke up. He doesn't want to be with me and he doesn't want the baby. All right, so it's the same pattern as before. I said, okay, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. You know, I really miss a baby. I really want a baby. I really want a baby. I just want a baby. You know, me, I'm like, no, what you really want is someone to stay with you, to love you, to give you that unconditional love that you're not receiving. Another man has left you again because you have so much unhealed trauma that it's projecting everywhere and you're attracting the worst partners. Right? Obviously, I'm not saying this. This is what I'm thinking. I have to let her make her own decisions. This is her life. I learned from the first time, you know, saying abort mission was the wrong thing to do. It's really not my place to tell somebody if they should or shouldn't have an abortion, even though I know what the right move is. However, do I believe that kids are blessed into people's lives for upgrading? Yes. Do I believe we have soul contracts? Yes. Do I love my niece and I thank God she's here? Yes. Is there ever a right specific time to have kids? I don't think so. I don't know if you have to have every check mark ready. I don't think anybody's ever ready. It's your life. You're going to do what you want. However, I do think there are tons of ways to prepare so your child has the most loving, secure way of entering this world. I have a couple friends who dated for years, got engaged, got married, bought a house, got a dog, and now they're pregnant. They both are financially stable. They look amazing. They have good energy. They got families that support them on both sides. That right there, that's a secure family. That, I believe, is right steps. Do I know couples that have been together for years, got pregnant, decided to keep the baby, had the baby, bought a house, got married years later? Yes. That's another way. That baby kind of sped up the process, right? Oh, okay. we're already together. Now we got the baby. This is kind of a confirmation that like we're in it forever. But now let's look on the flip side. I know people, friends, that have had a rocky relationship for years. On and off, drugs, drinking, jobless, enabling, controlling, just toxic. But they have their good times. And then that mother, that woman, knows that the relationship is failing, so I want to get pregnant. If I get pregnant, he'll step up to the plate. He'll get a job. He'll quit smoking cigarettes. He'll quit drinking. He'll do this. He'll do that. So they try for a baby. When there's only one person making income, and it ain't him, they get pregnant. They have the baby. And all those things he promised, I'll do this when I have the baby. I'll do that. I'll show up for you more. Never happens. So now you have someone enabling the guy. You have someone bringing in a child to this life, knowing that she's probably going to be a single mom, knowing that she's probably going to be the one in survival mode constantly because she has to provide for her family, for the guy and the baby and herself, because the guy won't step up to the plate. Relationship falling apart, red flags everywhere. But now let's get married. Because if we get married, he'll step up to the plate. He'll show up to me more. He'll get a job. He'll quit smoking. Guess what's going to happen? You see what I'm saying? Is what happens when you don't heal your traumas. You don't heal yourself first before bringing in children to this life. And like I said, there are beautiful ways to have children. There are beautiful ways to prepare the best you can. I have a friend who's always wanted kids since I've known her. She always had a vision of getting married. She's had a rocky ass relationship for a few years, and she's had a very stable relationship, and they sealed the deal. They got engaged. I'm like, they're gonna get married and they're gonna have kids. And this is the life that she wants. And that's okay. It is okay to want to have kids and a family and to be married, just like society tells you should. It's okay. There's a beautiful part about creating a child, an alien being, with your DNA in it, right? Because every newborn born into this life has DNA codes from past lifetimes and upon lifetimes that are meant to come here and give us messages on elevating our frequencies. But imagine bringing in this child of just divine light, love, energy of DNA from past lives and future lives and whatever. A beautiful being born. And then just traumatizing the kid for most of their life. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to my sister. That's what happened to my sister before that. That's what happened to a lot of my friends. The effects of instability, split homes, trauma, and emotional neglect is sad. It's like the darkness, the shadow world winning over that beautiful light being that just entered this planet. They say that everybody being born from now into the future are going to be born telepathic, are going to be born literally in the fifth dimension. And I believe we all are like that. Absolutely. But now, even more profound, more abilities, more magic. But do you think that the kids are going to hold on to that magic when they're constantly have instability, emotional neglect, split homes, trauma, watching the parents beat the shit out of each other, watching them scream, watching mom bringing guy to guy to guy to guy? How is that kid going to be able to step into the magic? How is that kid going to be able to have the most unconditional love like this planet is supposed to be? And that's all at the cost of you not doing work, knowing that you have healing to do. All it takes is you to vision a better future for yourself and your child. All it takes is for you to accept and acknowledge your traumas and your faults and get some help and do the work. If people slowed down, healed, got support, the next generation would be raised in love and not survival. I'm watching so many of my friends survive, trying to take care of their kids, posting on Facebook and Instagram. How do you live in these times and support 5 kids? It's like, first off, 5 kids. Good for you guys. I have friends posting a different guy every 3 months with their 3 kids from 3 different baby daddies. I have my sister surviving, working 12, 14, 15-hour days, stressed out, can't even feed herself half the time, but brings another child into this life because she wants a baby, because she doesn't feel that love from anybody else, so a baby will give it to her, knowing she barely could take care of the first one. Watching people back home in Wisconsin have kid after kid, knowing they're crackheads and meth heads, just like, what the heck? It's just, why? Why are you doing that? This is where my passion comes in. My passion for helping these children, because there are way more broken children than there are whole children. And they don't have that light and stability at home. They don't have that mentor. They don't have that guidance at home because they're all in survival mode. The parents are in survival mode if the parents are together. The kids in survival mode because they're watching mom and dad be in survival mode. The emotional wreck at homes, I can't even imagine. Actually, I can't imagine. I lived through it my whole life. My whole life until I was, 18. I lived with my actual parents until I was 14. And then it got really, really rough. My parents got a divorce, thank God, finally. I was begging them when I was like 10, I believe. I'm begging them. I was in and out of homes for years. And what kept me going, what kept me somewhat stable, was the homes that had the stability. The homes that had that light worker inside and seen the light in me. And that is what I want to be for the children. I want to be their hope. I want to be their light. I want to be their guide. I want to show them that, yes, I went through the ringer too. I watched my parents beat each other. I watched my dad beat my mother for years. I watched my parents both become addicted to the worst drugs, meth. I watched my mother drink herself to sleep on the couch and burn her cigarette all the way down. I watched my parents destroy the house and put it back together the next day. Welcome to meth. I watched my parents ruin so many holidays because my dad would drink and become an asshole, and my mom would drink and trigger him, and, she was popping Xanax and drinking Jägermeister and all the things. I've been there. I know what it's like to come from an unstable home full of trauma. That is why I ask, why kids? Why is it such a rush to have kids? Why are you bringing kids in knowing that you can't even hold space for the kid? Just to fill your little void of wanting to feel loved at this part of my life, but you're constantly in survival mode. Do you think that kid feels love? No, it doesn't. Kids, everybody's energy, we pick up on that stuff. My purpose is still connected to the children as a mentor and healer for the kids who didn't ask to be here but deserve the light. I want to ask you 3 powerful questions. 1, do you want kids and why? 2, do you not want kids? Why not? 3, if you're a parent, do you feel you were truly ready? Do you regret not waiting or doing the inner work first. I really want y'all to journal about this, reflect about it, think about it, sit in a meditation about it, and share your responses with me. Drop them in the comments, send me a personal DM. Really tell me your experience. Tell me what you truly believe on why you don't want kids. And if you do have kids, were you ready? Do you regret not waiting and doing the inner work? This is the kind of work I do. I have my coaching program, which is a space to explore these questions deeply. I have a course coming up here. I'm always dropping in on one-on-ones. I'm always open for one-on-ones. Send me a DM. Let's get you started. Let's talk about this. Let's really tap in and help you heal. So you're not projecting and creating generational trauma onto your kids. You can stop all of it by just doing the inner work on yourself. And I'm here to help you do that. And if you know any children who are in a family situation like this or any kind of situation with this, please share this episode with them. If you're a child or teenager listening to this episode, listening to this video, at any space or time, please reach out to me. If you feel like you need some kind of inner guidance, message me. I'm here for you. That is my purpose on this divine planet, is to help humanity. I always end on a beautiful affirmation, and today's affirmation is, may every child be born into love, not obligation. May every parent lead with healing and not hurt. And with much love, have a beautiful day.